Gentlemen, let me share something that might stop you in your tracks if you are over 60 and waking up all night to use the bathroom, dealing with a weak flow or feeling your masculinity fade. This is not just age. The surprising truth is that a simple vitamin deficiency could be driving your prostate problems. And here is the part no one talks about. Just one powerful vitamin taken at the right time can start shrinking your prostate and easing symptoms in as little as 18 hours. My name is Dr. Moheit Kara. I am a board-certified urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men regain their confidence, energy, and independence. I have seen thousands of patients who thought medication or surgery were their only choices, and I have watched them turn their health around once they understood their body's natural healing power. Here is the real twist you have been told. Prostate growth is inevitable, but the answer may already be sitting in your kitchen cabinet. Not a drug, not a procedure, but 5 often overlooked vitamins that go after the root cause of prostate enlargement. By the end of this message, you will know exactly which vitamins these are, how they work inside your body, and the simple, natural steps you can take to restore prostate health. Imagine sleeping through the night, feeling strong again, and living without worrying about the nearest bathroom. That is what I promise to give you today. Stay with me, because in a moment I will reveal the single most powerful vitamin I have seen shrink the prostate faster than anything else in my 3 decades of practice. Before we begin, I invite you to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another important message about your health. And if this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0 to let me know how I can make this content more helpful for you. Now that you understand why vitamins hold the hidden key to prostate health, let's start with the very first and perhaps most overlooked one. This is the vitamin most older men are quietly deficient in, yet it plays a critical role in calming inflammation and shrinking an enlarged prostate. One, vitamin D, the silent protector. When I think back over the many years I have spent caring for men in their 60s, 70s and beyond, one of the clearest patterns I have seen is this: almost every man who walks into my office with an enlarged prostate is low in vitamin D. I call it the silent deficiency because you rarely feel it directly. You might not notice aching bones or muscle weakness until it becomes severe, but deep inside the body, in the tissues of your prostate, the absence of vitamin D quietly allows inflammation to build, cells to multiply, and the gland to swell. Vitamin D is not just about strong bones or protecting against colds. As many believe, it actually regulates hundreds of processes in the body. Inside the prostate, it acts like a peacekeeper. When levels are healthy, it calms the immune cells that trigger swelling, and it helps restore balance between testosterone and a hormone called DHT, the very hormone that drives prostate growth. Without enough vitamin D, that balance tips the wrong way, and the prostate begins to enlarge, pressing on the urethra and making every bathroom trip a struggle. I remember one patient, a man in his late 60s, who came to me exhausted from waking up 5 or 6 times a night. He was considering surgery, but when we tested his blood, his vitamin D was almost non-existent. We corrected his deficiency with a simple daily supplement, and within a few weeks he was sleeping through most nights. The look on his face when he told me he finally enjoyed a full night's rest again is something I will never forget for him. Vitamin D worked better than any pill he had tried. Another overlooked truth is how little sunlight older men often receive. Decades ago, you might have spent more time outdoors, working in the yard, golfing, or simply enjoying the sun, but with age, the skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D, and many seniors spend more time indoors, add in the use of sunscreen and long, cloudy winters, and it becomes clear why deficiency is almost the rule. Not the exception. Correcting this does not have to be complicated. Some men benefit from modest sun exposure, but in most cases a high-quality supplement is the surest way to bring vitamin D back to healthy levels. And when those levels rise, the change can be dramatic. The prostate tissue softens, the constant urge to urinate fades, nights become restful again. It feels as if the body finally exhales after years of silent tension. If you are over 60, I cannot stress enough how critical this vitamin is for your prostate health. This is not about quick fixes or magic cures. It is about giving your body what it has been missing for far too long. And when you do, you may find that the symptoms you thought were just part of aging start to loosen their grip. But here is the exciting part. Vitamin D is only the beginning, because while it is the silent protector, there is another vitamin that works like a shield guarding your prostate cells from the daily wear and tear that slowly weakens them. And once you understand how this second nutrient works, you will see a new layer of protection you never knew existed. Vitamin E, the antioxidant shield. Over the years, I have seen many men walk into my office carrying not only the burden of an enlarged prostate, but also the frustration of feeling like nothing helps. They have tried medications, dealt with side effects, and still find themselves standing over the toilet at night, waiting for a weak stream that never feels complete. One hidden reason for this ongoing struggle is oxidative stress, a slow, invisible process that damages the prostate cell. By cell, it is like rust on an old car engine. You do not notice it at first, but over time it eats away at the system until it cannot run smoothly anymore. This is where vitamin E becomes so important, because it acts as the body's natural shield against that rust. Vitamin E is more than just a name printed on a supplement bottle for the prostate. It is a powerful antioxidant that protects delicate tissues from damage caused by free radicals. These are unstable molecules that come from poor diet, stress, pollution, and even normal aging in a younger man's body. There is usually enough antioxidant defense to keep things in balance, but as you pass 60, those defenses weaken, and the prostate is one of the first organs to feel the impact. When vitamin E is restored, it is like putting armor around your prostate cells, protecting them from daily wear and tear, and giving them a chance to heal and relax. I remember one gentleman in his early 70s who described feeling as if his bladder was trapped in a vice. Every trip to the restroom was uncomfortable, and he lived in constant anxiety about leaking or not making it. In time, we worked together to adjust his nutrition, and I encouraged him to add a natural vitamin E supplement, especially one with mixed tocopherols, which research shows is the most effective form. A few months later, he came back with tears in his eyes, saying that for the first time in years, he felt relief. His flow was stronger. The urgency had eased, and he could finally sit through an entire church service without the panic of rushing to the bathroom. That kind of transformation is not unusual. When oxidative stress is lowered and the prostate is no longer under constant cellular attack, men often notice a softer, less swollen gland. The urethra is not as compressed, which makes urination easier and less painful. Even more, some men report an overall sense of lightness and vitality returning, because the body is no longer fighting hidden inflammation every moment of the day. One thing I always stress to my patients is that the form of vitamin E matters, Not all supplements are created equal. The natural form, especially when combined with a diet rich in nuts, seeds, and green vegetables, works in harmony with the body in a way that synthetic versions simply cannot. This combination nourishes your cells, restores balance, and quietly works behind the scenes to protect your prostate from further damage. When I think of vitamin E, I picture it as a shield one that guards you while your body begins the slow process of healing. It is not about instant miracles. It is about giving your prostate the breathing room it desperately needs to function normally again. And here is where it gets even more interesting, because while vitamin E protects your cells, there is another vitamin that fights inflammation head-on, cooling the fire inside your prostate and allowing deeper healing to begin. And once you understand how it works, you will see why so many men overlook this simple yet powerful protector. 3. Vitamin C, the inflammation fighter. If there is one word I hear again and again from my patients when they describe their prostate symptoms, it is burning. They talk about the burning sensation when they urinate, the constant irritation deep inside, and the frustration that nothing seems to calm it down. That burning is inflammation, and it is one of the most damaging forces working against your prostate. For years, men have been told that inflammation is simply part of aging, something they just have to live with. But I have seen over and over how powerful vitamin C can be in fighting this inflammation and giving men real relief. Vitamin C is often thought of as the vitamin for colds or the immune system, but for the prostate it does something far more important. It cools the inflammation that swells. The gland presses on the bladder and narrows the urinary passage. When vitamin C levels are low, the tissues become irritated, fragile, and slow to heal. Every trip to the bathroom feels more urgent, and every night becomes another battle against sleeplessness. But when vitamin C is restored, it is almost like pouring cool water on a fire. The swelling starts to settle, the tissues repair themselves, and urination becomes less painful and more complete. I remember a man in his late 60s who came to me feeling completely defeated. He said, "Doctor, it feels like I can never empty my bladder. No matter how many times I try." His tests showed low vitamin C, and his diet was missing fruits and vegetables. We adjusted his nutrition, added a vitamin C supplement, and within weeks the burning sensation had eased, and he was urinating more freely. He told me that for the first time in years he felt like he could leave his house without being chained to the nearest restroom. That kind of change may sound small to someone who has never faced prostate problems, but for him, it gave his freedom back. What makes vitamin C even more powerful is how it works alongside other nutrients when paired with vitamin E. The two act like partners, one fighting inflammation and the other guarding against oxidative damage. Together, they create an environment where the prostate can truly begin to heal. And beyond the prostate, vitamin C also strengthens the collagen that supports the bladder walls, giving men more control and reducing the feeling of urgency. It is not just about easing discomfort, it is about restoring dignity and peace of mind. Many men do not realize that vitamin C levels decline with age, especially if they rely heavily on processed foods or avoid fresh produce. Correcting this does not have to be complicated. Citrus fruits, berries, peppers, and high-quality supplements can all help bring levels back to where they should be. And when that happens, the results are often felt quickly: less irritation, fewer trips to the bathroom, and a stronger sense of overall vitality. When I talk about vitamin C, I do not just see a nutrient, I see a calming force, a way of cooling the constant fire that robs so many men of restful nights and worry-free days. But here is where the story gets even more fascinating. While vitamin C fights inflammation, there is another vitamin that acts almost like a hidden conductor, directing calcium hormones and cellular growth in ways that can dramatically influence the size and health of your prostate. And when you learn how this next vitamin works, you will understand why so many men miss it. Yet it may be the key to unlocking long-term prostate relief for vitamins. K2, the hormone balancer, one of the most overlooked vitamins in men's health, is vitamin K2. In fact, many of my patients have never even heard of it until I bring it up in my office. Yet, time and again, I have seen how powerful this vitamin can be for men struggling with prostate enlargement. What makes K2 so remarkable is that it acts like a quiet conductor inside your body, guiding calcium to where it belongs, into your bones and away from your soft tissues. Without enough K2, calcium has a tendency to drift into places it should never be, including the prostate, where it can harden tissue, trigger inflammation, and make an already enlarged gland feel even more rigid and uncomfortable. I remember one gentleman in his 70s who had been told by another doctor that surgery was his only option. When we reviewed his nutrition, I discovered he was severely lacking in K2 after adding a high-quality K2 supplement and adjusting his diet within months. He reported feeling more comfortable, with less pressure on his bladder and a stronger, steadier flow. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like my body has finally loosened its grip on me." That is the quiet balancing power of vitamin K2, but the story does not stop there. K2 does more than guide. Calcium, it also works hand in hand with vitamin D to regulate the hormones that influence prostate size. When these two vitamins are in harmony, men often experience softer tissue, fewer nighttime interruptions, and more freedom to live without constant worry about the bathroom. And here is where it gets truly exciting, because while K2 balances hormones and softens tissue, there is a group of vitamins that go even further, fueling energy, improving circulation, and restoring vitality in ways that can transform not just your prostate, but your entire life. 5. Vitamin B complex, the energy and circulation boost. When I sit down with older men who are struggling with prostate problems, one of the complaints I hear most often is fatigue. They tell me they feel drained, sluggish, and weighed down not just by their prostate symptoms, but by a deep loss of energy that seems to touch every part of their lives. This is where the family of B vitamins comes in, because they play a crucial role in how your body produces energy and maintains healthy circulation, both of which directly affect the prostate. Among the B vitamins, B6, B12, and folate are especially important together. They help lower a harmful substance in the blood called homocysteine, which when elevated damages blood vessels and fuels inflammation. High homocysteine is like a silent toxin for the prostate, stiffening tissue and limiting blood flow. By reducing it, B vitamins open up the body's highways again, delivering oxygen and nutrients where they are needed most. The result is not just a healthier prostate, but a stronger, more vibrant sense of life. I will never forget a patient in his late 60s who came to me saying, "Doctor, I feel like my body is slowing down in every way." His labs showed low B12 and folate after a few months of supplementation. Not only did his prostate symptoms ease, but he also reported more stamina, sharper focus, and even a renewed spark in his intimate life. It was as if someone had turned the lights back on. That is the gift of B vitamins. They do not just support your prostate, they restore vitality to your entire system. And now that we have uncovered all 5 of these powerful vitamins, let us bring everything together in the conclusion, where I will share why so few men are ever told this truth and how you can start reclaiming your health today. Conclusion: the hidden truth no one tells you after 3 decades of listening to men share their struggles. I can say this with certainty: Your prostate problems are not just the cruel hand of aging, they are often the result of your body quietly missing what it needs to stay balanced and strong. We have talked about vitamin D, the silent protector that calms inflammation and restores balance. We have seen how vitamin E shields your cells like armor, while vitamin C cools the fire of irritation. We have uncovered the hidden role of vitamin K2 in guiding calcium and hormones. And finally, the B vitamins that restore energy circulation and vitality. Together, these 5 vitamins form a natural defense, not just shrinking the prostate, but giving you back the nights of uninterrupted sleep, the freedom to enjoy your days without constant worry, and even the dignity of feeling like yourself again. I have watched men go from desperate and defeated to hopeful and strong simply by restoring these nutrients. And my message to you is simple: you are not powerless. There are natural answers within your reach, and they can change your future. So as you take this knowledge with you, remember the truth. No one tells you is often the truth that sets you free.